And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break. Hope you took that moment to stretch your roaches, to hydrate your hydras, to massage your marines, to cook your colossus, because we don't have time for any of that anymore. We are here for our next best of 7. It is Shopify Rebellion versus KaiZi Gaming, and our lineups are before us. We kick things off with ByuN versus Dark, into Harstem versus Hero, into Lambo versus Oliveira to end the night. Again, we just wrapped up with Mystery Gaming versus Onside Gaming, and again, it was very back and forth, or at least some very exciting and enticing games. A one-sided score overall, but an exciting series nonetheless. And this is going to be an interesting one. Again, if you saw when it came to the ELOs, the ratings are a little bit brutal for Shopify. Again, Shopify, they did struggle and they did underperform in the last season of WTL. So I feel like this is a redemption arc, a redemption arc for Shopify. Unfortunately, they're up against one of the best teams in the league, KaiZi Gaming. I think they're like a 3 or 4 time WTL champion. DKZ, there's some heavy hitters. There's some big names here in this team, and it's difficult for anyone to go up against them. So best of luck to Shopify, best of luck to their players, because they're gonna need it if they want to bring down DKZ Gaming. Oh boy, especially bearing in mind that they are fielding their A players here. No Jeshi this time. It is Dark, Hero, and Oliveira, the best of the best that they do have to offer. So it is not going to be an easy road here for the Rebels. As we are getting ready for our first matchup, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on how you think this best of 2 is going to go, as our first best of 2 is ByuN versus Dark. Oh, let's go. Let us go. ByuN versus Dark is going to be coming up first, and of course Dark, considered to be the ace player on the team. It's debatable whether it's Dark or Hero, but it's one of those things where DKZ Gaming, KaiZi, they are a team of champions, a team that does not hold back. Oh boy. But likewise, Shopify, they have their own ace, they have their own champion in ByuN, so this is going to be a spicy best of 2, very back and forth. A best of 2 that I can't wait to dig my teeth into. Oh, let's go. Let us go. Game 1 is going to be on Oceanborn. And of course, game 2 is loser's pick. ByuN will all kill. That's not how this format works. That's not. Aye. Shaking my head. It's not all kill format. WTL format. But again, for now, we're just going to be getting ready, and here we go. We dive straight into game number 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, with a bit of a blurry cam, it is ByuN. And then top left, we have his opponent for KaiZi Gaming, Dark. It's okay. If ByuN wins this series, then he can afford a better camera. It's fine. It's all good, Papi. It's all good. As we are getting into this, it's okay. We're just censoring ByuN a little bit. He's not safe for work, but I'm sure he will be later on. Don't worry about it. As, oh my, interesting opener here. Dark is going to be going for a pool first. Okay, we have a pool first opener from Dark. Meanwhile, ByuN is going for a low ground Rax opener instead. I would say this is better for the Terran, as he's going for a low ground 2 racks, which means that initial lings aren't going to find any damage whatsoever, as ByuN will have a full wall up here at the natural base. We'll see how hard Dark commits. We'll see how many lings are made, as he's going for a pool hatch gas opener. Oh boy. Here we go. Again, behind this, we'll see if Dark can amass or get value. He isn't going up to 6 lings, he's going up to 4 lings, but again, I'll be honest, I don't see these 4 lings doing too much. I do think that Dark gambled a little bit here in game 1, and I feel like he's going to be coming up a bit short, as he will be putting himself a bit behind economically, more so than he otherwise would be, as the Overlord is now making its way across the map, and Dark now gets eyes on the 2 Raxes. These lings are most likely going to be waiting for the first Reaper to move out, and Dark will try to slip in, will try to get past an open wall, but the wall is closed. And of course, Dark does confirm that. First Reaper gets across the map, confirms how late the hatchery is. ByuN is now fully aware that it was a pull first, and now he needs to confirm that there are no additional gases, that there is no roach warren. Again, a pull first can lead into a roach rush, so ByuN is just ensuring that that is not the case. He does confirm that link speed is on the way, but Dark has not pulled out a gas. Not completely, at least. As we are making an abundance of Reapers. Now, because of this Reaper opener of ByuN, Dark is stuck on 2 bases. His 3rd base is heavily delayed. And yeah, this is just a really rough start for our Zerg player. These Reapers shouldn't get too much damage done. They shouldn't get any economic damage done. But oh my god, that is a 3rd CC before starport. A very greedy follow-up. And I like this from ByuN because he knows he can get away with this. 3rd CC before factory is insanely greedy out of ByuN. He goes up to 5 Reapers. With 5 Reapers, you cannot take a 3rd base. It is not going to happen. He catches some lings, and it looks like Dark is going all in. He's making a wave of 14 lings. Dark is making a drone, so we're getting some mixed signals here. I'm curious as to what Dark... Okay, there we go. We're droning. So Dark has lings from map control, and these lings are necessary. The reality is that without these lings, Dark can't expand. And there we go. Now we have a 3rd base. If those 5 Reapers did try to punish the 3rd, then Dark would have nothing to deal with it. So he did have to invest into all these lings. And again, it is a rough road to recovery here for Dark. Meanwhile, ByuN just cutting corners and getting further ahead. Now, the upside for Dark is that because ByuN made an extra wave of Reapers, that means that stim is delayed. That means that these add-ons are delayed as well, or the add-on stim, marine production in general. So Dark has a little bit more time to muster up his forces and to drone before ByuN hits the field with the stim timing. So there is a bit of a give and take. ByuN is greedy, but because he's greedy and because he made all these Reapers, it means that Dark can also be a little bit greedier and try to cut corners in his own right. Roach Warren is on the way. We do have an add-on swap going straight into those medevacs. Again, this stim timing is going to hit like a truck. And Dark is in the dark as to what's going on. Obviously, he's aware that a 2-on-1 variation should be coming, but he's not entirely sure how greedy and how economic ByuN has been. Or even if it is 2-on-1. To be fair, it could be a 4-axe for all Dark knows. 4-axes have fallen out of fashion. We haven't really seen a 4-axe in quite some time, but it's still on the table. As Dark has been able to saturate his natural, and he's in the midst of saturating his 3rd. Roach Warren is done. Roaches are on the way. The 2-on-1 has been revealed. And Dark should be getting ready back at home. Interesting. His lings are going for a bit of a counterattack, trying to catch some reinforcements if possible. He does catch three Marines. Oh, and even 2 of those Reapers as well. Decent catch. Forces out a stim from ByuN. Does delay him. And it's giving Dark time he needs to build up these roaches to get reinforcements to survive this stim timing. It's going to be close, but I believe Dark should barely have enough of these roaches. As ByuN is pushing on through, clearing up a lot of this creep. But here we go, the roaches, they do arrive in time, and ByuN will be forced back. And from here, we're getting into the mid-game. Dark is going to be harassing a little bit. He tries to punish the mineral line, but there's a tank in position. But Dark is just droning. He's now working on his 4th base. Likewise, ByuN is saturating his 3rd as we speak, working on 1-1. Likewise, so is Dark. I do still want to give the edge to ByuN, just because he has more map control, and you can see here, he's cleaning up so much creep. Yeah, and he can fight this as well. He turns around, he takes out 1, 2, 3 roaches. Very nice wiggles here from ByuN. Working on the armory, eventually 2-2. And Dark is going for a much faster infestation pit, which again I do appreciate. I do think, especially in the new patch, as we get into a Bailey Nest, that infestors will be very necessary to survive long enough to get into Lingbane. The Roach Ravager is all we have to rely on early on here to make it that far, to make it that long. As ByuN is still sharking around, catching more tumors. Again, this double drop isn't designed to get damage done, it's just designed to keep Dark on his toes, to keep the creep in check, to keep him back. There it is, 2 safety infestors are on the way. We can get up to 3, but 2 is good nonetheless. As a reminder, with the changes of the new patch, these infestors, once they pop out, they can fungal immediately. They do have the energy for it. So 2 infestors to help support. Baneling's speed is on the way, Hive is on the way as well. Dark he is taking up very quickly. But now here comes the first dedicated push from ByuN. Now it isn't just drop play, now we have the main brunt of the army. Dark is going to try to hold on to the high ground, but alas, he has to give this up. He has to pull back, and the tanks are slowly pushing forward. They are within range, but here we go. The fungal will connect. Good fungal on the bio. And there is not enough to break these tanks. The tanks are naked. Ooh, but we can't push forward. The second fungal misses. We only had 2. We only had 2 fungals, and the tanks survived. Despite the fact that they were left so exposed, only 1 tank goes down. ByuN meets up with his reinforcements. He's going to keep on pushing. Likewise, Dark is mustering up his army. We have 1 Viper on the way. Dark, he rushed into Hive for that 1 Viper. Will it pay off? Will it come into play? Baneling's speed is done. Is amassing more Banelings. He's morphing as many of his roaches into Ravagers as well to help bile down those tanks. And here we go. He's coming in from behind. He's trying to get a wraparound on this army. He collapses on these tanks, and he should clean this up. 1 tank remaining in the back line, but Dark doesn't get on top of it. Up. Barely doesn't get on top of the tank. He has to wait for more Lings. But ByuN has run out of steam. And ByuN doesn't overextend. He pulls back. Whew. And Dark survives. He survives here on his 4 bases. The infestors regathering their energy. Viper is now out. Viper is also gathering up energy for those blinding clouds. And now we're working on those melee upgrades for the Lingbane. Now the question becomes, as ByuN expands and takes a 4th, can ByuN deny the 5th base of Dark? The 5th base on this map is difficult to hold on to. Whether you expand on the left or the right hand side, it is very exposed. ByuN still has to get an eye on where the expansion is, and we'll see if he can deny it. Oh. As for now, he's just getting himself set up. Dark is expanding away from ByuN, so it is going to make it a little bit more awkward for ByuN to pressure that fifth base. As Dark is attempting to clean up all these rocks to open up attack paths. Does get eyes on the double drop. Oh. As Dark is able to keep up with it and keep tabs on the drop play here of ByuN. He's working on 3-3, transitioning into Widow Mines, which I think is quite fair, especially considering how heavily we are focusing on Lingbane for the time being. Interesting. Spire is on the way for Dark. I imagine for a greater Spire, but it is on the way. Adrenal as well, +2. Here we go. ByuN is focusing on this pushing on the right hand side, bearing in mind he does have 2 medevacs over on the left. Biles will take down one of those mines. Infestors are lying in wait, waiting for those fungals. But Dark has to pull back. Meanwhile, the drop comes in and the drop gets cleaned up. But this 6th base is going to be cancelled. But again, at least Dark holds onto his 5th. As he's able to keep up with his opponents. Both armies are maxed out. Dark amassing a bank as well of minerals and gas. Meanwhile, ByuN is rotating around. I feel like this is something that he needed to do earlier, but I think he first wanted to clear up creep to protect his fourth, and now he's rotating over towards the fresh mining base of Dark. Looking to get on top of that fifth. Oh, does take some piles to the face. God, but that's a lot of Marauders. And here we go. We're going to try to engage, but the spread is too good. The split is too good. ByuN just stimming on forward. Without these Fungals, without these Infestors, I don't know if we can really push in. Fungals, they will be connecting, but do we have anything to follow up? Good Biles! But we need more Lingbane. We barely have any. As ByuN will break through, he will take down this fifth base. The hatchery will fall. And ByuN gets the hell out of there. And that's all he needed to do. Deny the hatchery. Behind this, Dark is trying to transition into Broodlord Infestor, but that's still a ways away. Dark does have a bank to work with, so thankfully he can still afford to double expand and get away with it. He can still sustain himself a little bit longer. But ByuN has a lot of momentum going his way, and ByuN is taking his own fifth base behind this. Being on par on bases with the Zerg is never something you want to see as a Zerg player. And a beautiful position to be in as a Terran. And this hatchery, it's not going to finish. We've seen this dynamic before, specifically on Oceanborn. I don't know if Dark can get a fifth base. He's trying desperately, but again, ByuN is in position, pushing on forward. There's just not enough here from Dark as he's being bullied back even further. And ByuN, he's making his way over towards the right-hand side again, making sure Dark cannot expand. Fungal was decent. As Lingbanes are looking for some connections, but ByuN is just suffocating Dark here. Keeping him contained. He does get on top of the base on the right-hand side, and we see another cancel. 5 Broodlords are on the way. Dark needs to desperately break free from this contain. The Broodlords will help. There are no ghosts. Because there are no ghosts with the main army at the moment, the Broodlords, they should be able to force this back, and they should give Dark some breathing room. As the Broodlords have arrived. We don't want to waste the Banelings. Don't want to waste them here. As there we go. Now that the Broodlords have revealed themselves, ByuN is backing off. And this is the moment that Dark needs to expand. He needs to take a base. He needs to double expand. Oh, he takes a mine to the face, though. Oof. A brutal mine. As this army... Oh, God. We see a drop on the right-hand side. The fifth base is denied once again. And ByuN is bypassing the army of Dark, ignoring the Broodlords. And Dark just attempted to double expand, and he's forced to cancel twice. And yeah, we get a Doom drop into the main base. Again, Oceanborn, it does feel like one of those maps that is just very difficult to take a fifth base on, especially as a defending player. And Dark, it's just not going to happen. Hydra then goes down. The drop will get cleaned up, but worth it here for ByuN, as long as he's able to maintain his economic lead. Maintain his economic position. Thors are on the way. The Broodlords, of course, have been scouted, and ByuN is transitioning. He's refining his army to better deal with these Broodlords. Thors, Ghosts, Hellbats. Late game transition into mech is kind of what we want to be seeing, just to be more efficient overall. And from here, ByuN, if he wanted to, he can take a 6th base. He can take another CC behind this, and he's working on it. He's actually taking two CCs. My God. Yeah, ByuN is expanding. He's expanding over on the right-hand side, and he's looking to expand on the left as well. As a Dark double expands. Nah, that's a kill, not a cancel. Yeah, there's just no creep in position, no map presence. It was a hard-fought battle, and again, like, these Broodlords were designed to give Dark a little bit of breathing room, and it looks like Dark now does take a 5th. On the top right, he now has a hatchery. He can now finally take advantage of it. Dark is still in this. He takes a 5th. He's got Broodlords, he's got Infestors. He has been preserving his Infestor count. He does have Fungals available. If ByuN were to overextend, then Dark can take a fight. But we can see ByuN taking this so slow and steady because he knows he's ahead. He's just walling off. We have turrets being thrown down everywhere, planetaries everywhere, sensor towers. He's just taking control of the map. And he's not pushing in. Again, like, best case scenario for Dark is for ByuN to overextend, for ByuN to be overconfident, to push on to creep with his main army, and to lose the main army. But again, slow and steady. Oh, big fungals though. Some of these ghosts will go down. And this is what Dark needs. Dark, he needs ByuN to just be like, just too adventurous, too cavalier, go into creep with his ghosts. Dark needs ByuN to give him some opportunities. And we already had our first one. I believe a nuke did finish, so ByuN does have a nuke available at some point. A good EMP on that Infestor. Again, ByuN just containing his opponents. We've got tank lines, we've got turrets as well. Lunker 10 is on the way for Dark. A kind of an amalgamation of Lurker Broodlord is most likely what Dark wants to get towards. Lurker Broodlord Infestor Viper. But here we go, Dark pushing out, actually getting onto one of those tanks. EMP does connect, but we can break this position. ByuN spread a little bit too thin. And the Biles will force this back. Good fungal. The ghosts! The ghosts! The ghosts are going to be going down. A big loss here for ByuN. Oh my god. Again, ByuN just had far too many forces over towards the left-hand side. Dark takes a massive win. You can see ByuN shake his head. And this is the moment that Dark needed. Now is the moment to keep on pushing. He denies one base. And he's looking to break free and deny another. In the blink of an eye, ByuN, he lost almost every one of his ghosts. One fungal, Papi. One fungal. And now the Lunker's coming from behind. This planetary will fall, and Dark is looking to take control of the low ground and deny another CC. Another base. And now suddenly the turns have tabled, and earlier we were talking about how the 5th base is really difficult to hold on to, and that is the case regardless of what race you play. We can see Dark rotate around. This 5th base on the right hand side is going to be forced to be lifted, and now Dark can divert his attention over towards the left. Oh, Vikings have arrived. They do take down 2 of those broods. Oh, that Thor count is getting higher. The army of ByuN is becoming that much more terrifying, and Dark has to be careful not to be caught out. As he's going for an ultra run by, he wants this planetary, he will get it. The Banelings connect, the planetary goes down, and the Broodlords will attempt to escape. They'll attempt. Yeah, as they are going to be chased down. Oof. An expensive loss here for Dark. 3 Broodlords for a ghost. Meanwhile, a Ling run by pulling ByuN apart. We slip into the 3rd base. Banelings roll into the natural. Not too many workers to kill here, but workers nonetheless. And suddenly, we have a game. We have a back and forth. Both players are burning through their banks. ByuN still has a mineral bank that he can work with at least. He is looking to reestablish his 5th base. Meanwhile, Dark trying to take a 6th. Rebuilding his Ling Bane. Not reinvesting into the ultras. Not this time. But, ooh, something that we are lacking. No Neural. Neural is missing. Without Neural, can we deal with these Thors? We have the Umbara, we have some big fungal growths on these Thors, but is it enough? Looks like it isn't. As the Thors, they stand their ground. Likewise, so do the Lurkers. This Thor army, they're designed to fight against Broodlords, not Lurkers. And again, I love that Dark, he made those initial, what, 5-6 Broodlords. And since then, as he's been losing Broodlords, he has been focusing on Lurker production instead. So this Thor army, it's less than ideal. The tech switch is real. Now we're going back into tanks, into Hellbats. Oh, ByuN does catch Dark out of position. This hatchery is looking very exposed. Dark unable to keep up. Hatchery is going to be going down, but Dark is getting ready to swallow up this army. It's getting ready to come in from behind. Oh, likewise, there are also Thors out on the map as well. What does Dark go for? He tries to go for the Thors. A bit of a messy fight though. ByuN comes in from the from the right-hand side as well. He cleans up the Ravagers. It's just too much. Dark loses his army, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. That was back and forth for a long time. ByuN was in the driver's seat. ByuN was containing Dark to his 4 bases. Eventually, Dark was able to break out. He was able to take a 5th and take an amazing fight, and things turned back in favor of Dark. But we saw that, again, ByuN was able to... we saw really chaotic engagement in the center of the map. It was very chaotic, and Dark was trying to catch an army, and then another army showed up, and he was trying to divert his attention to the Thors, and then ByuN came back from behind. Like, it was just a really messy engagement towards the end there, and ByuN was able to come out on top, take advantage of Dark being out of position, and with that, GG. ByuN does take the first game. But I do appreciate that it was more back and forth. Again, very impressive to see Dark actually be able to break free from a difficult position. That's not the first time we've seen that. We saw that in Dark versus Gumiho as well, where Gumiho was doing an amazing job. I think Gumiho, Clem, and ByuN, they were doing an amazing job at containing containing Dark to those 4 bases. But eventually, Dark, when he does get a 5th, he gains a little momentum, and with that momentum, he can straight up win from there. So it was more back and forth. Thankfully, it was more back and forth, and in the end, ByuN takes it, and a very interesting map of choice. Radha's Station for Dark. I think this is the first time this map has been chosen from the loser. I think this is the first time. Crazy. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that up until this point, we haven't seen this map picked here. Actually, maybe from an underdog player to defend on 4 bases and even take a 5th. So they typically lead to very late game situations. So I wonder what the plan is. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left hand corner. We have ByuN for Shopify, and in the top right for KaiZi Gaming, it is Dark. Here we go. Now I wonder. Now Dark is a very aggressive player. My theory coming into this is he wants ByuN to be overly greedy and to maybe just, be a little bit more crazy here instead. And we could even see something like a Lin Queen Nidus all in. Dark, he is known, if he sees a 3cc opener, Lin Queen Nidus all in, bam, immediately. Dark can be very aggressive, very all in. Meanwhile, ByuN is going for a CC first. No surprise. Very economic opener here out of ByuN, and this is the sort of thing that you can get away with on Radha's Station. Likewise, a hatch pool open. Oh, interesting. Hatch pool hatch from Dark. Oh my god, already working on those minerals. So it is a race to be as greedy as possible here in the early game. How greedy can we get? So a gasless opener out of Dark. He is delaying his gases here in favor of getting a 3rd base, getting a faster hatchery. Likewise, ByuN going for a CC first into a Rex. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into another CC after this, before factory. CC before factory is crazy, but again, it's possible on this map. We've seen it before. As Dark does end up taking his 3rd base. 3rd hatchery is on the way from our Zerg player. And likewise, my eyes are on ByuN as he does throw down a factory after the Rex. And yeah, he's just focusing on his CC in the pocket base first, before the CC at the natural. Very interesting choice. Very interesting decision here from ByuN. Of course, it means that if you want to harass that natural base, you have to commit very hard, pushing deep into enemy territory. Essentially just sacrificing your units. As ByuN is just pushing back that Overlord. And we're getting into this game. Oh. You can see Dark just trying to get a scout off. He, I'm sure, is a little bit concerned as he doesn't see a CC on the low ground, but he goes even further and he does confirm the CC in the pocket base. So he's now aware of the opener. And interesting, I appreciate this from ByuN. He is going for a 1-1-1. Go straight for that starport. So typically, I would expect to see a third CC before starport, but because we get a starport first, this is a very defensive, or I say very defensive, a much more aggressive opener, which gives you a lot of safety because you're making units first. I do think that this is a wise choice, just because I mentioned before about the Lin Kuei Nidus all in, and Darky's so ready to go for something like that. I imagine that ByuN is wary of that situation, as he now throws down his third base on location. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark was not all-inning anywhere anytime soon, actually. Dark is getting away with this. He's now getting into his gases, working on his Roach Warren. I do think that here in the early game, I think Dark has been able to get away with more. I do think that this 1-1-1 opener from ByuN was a safety opener that he was a little bit afraid of, and he himself hasn't scattered across the map. He doesn't know what Dark has been up to. He doesn't know how many corners Dark has been cutting. As we do have our first medevac out, and ByuN is moving out with a Hellion drop. The first sign of aggression of this game. The first real move out from ByuN. Meanwhile, Dark is just happily droning. A couple of safety roaches are coming out. Spores as well, in time for the eventual Banshees. Banshees that aren't coming, but if they were, Dark would be ready for it. And here comes that Hellion drop straight into the natural. Oh, Dark nearby with his roaches, but Hellions, they are zoned away. They are forced back by the Queens. Dark is in position. And the Hellions, they do nothing. For now. At least the Hellions survive, which means they're going to be useful later on for a follow-up push or maybe for a follow-up drop. They are at least still alive, and ByuN does take control of the Zanaga. Does take control of that tower. And ByuN is just saturating his third, working on 1-1. So again, I guess we have our answer. I was curious if Dark was hoping to maybe catch ByuN being too greedy and get him with an all-in. But no, Dark, he's just meeting greed with greed. He's just trying to out-greed his opponent. Spire is on the way. Interesting choice. We saw this a couple of days ago. Was it Raynor? It wasn't quite Raynor. Was it... Yeah, one of our other Zerg players. It was Cyril, right? Of course. It was Cyril on Radisson Station. I think it was Cyril versus Cure in the best of 5. We saw Cyril attempt to make use of mutas on this map, and he was unsuccessful. Cyril did try to go muta against Cure a couple of days ago, just because, again, you can be very greedy, you can take a lot of gases, and you can maybe make use of the dead air on this map. But Cure was keeping up just left and right, and Cyril didn't really do any damage at all, and it was a game that eventually Cure did end up winning. I wonder if Dark can find some more success here. I wonder if he is able to catch ByuN off guard and unawares if this Spire does go unscattered. But it was during the South Shuai Cup. It was during Korea versus the World. Korea versus the World. As Cyril did end up playing a full best of 5 series against Cure. Highly recommend checking out the VODs. It was a good series. A lot, very action-packed. A lot of fun. As we do see, the Mute is just going to be hugging the edge of the map. We do catch a drop. Very well done there by Dark, but the Mutas have revealed themselves, and now ByuN, yeah, he's rotating around. He's going to try to catch those Mutas with the Marines. Turrets are on the way, and the Muta goes down. So far, very well done here by ByuN. Did lose a drop, but again, he's in position. There are Marines all over the place, and these Mutas will not do any economic damage. They at least give Dark some breathing room. Behind this, he's focusing on his Ling Bane, getting 1-1, working towards his Hive Tech. Mutas do dive into the third, but again, another Muta goes down. ByuN keeping up at every turn. This is the same issue that we saw with Serral, where because these bases are so compact, because they are so close together, despite having map control and despite, you know, having a maneuverable force with your Mutas, it's still very difficult to actually catch the Terran player off guard and actually get into a mineral line. As ByuN doesn't take any economic damage. And here we go, he is going to be moving out. Now is when Dark is at his most vulnerable. He does have Ling Bane ready for this. Is it going to be enough? Banelings are on the way. Roaches, they turn back around, they come back home. Dark getting ready for a surround, and he does come in from behind. Banelings rolling in, and ByuN is going to get completely swallowed up. There's just too much Zerg, and this was not the move out that he was looking for. The Mutas, they can chase down the Medivacs, and ByuN loses everything. This map is known for turtling. You turtle until you're maxed out, and ByuN refused. He moved out prematurely, lost everything, not just the army, but the Medivacs as well. You can see ByuN shake his head on cams, and he's going to have to give up this base. I don't know how he can hold on to his fourth base, not after that. Yeah, I'm sure Dark, I guess the other thing is maybe hoping that ByuN is too antsy, too aggressive, overly aggressive. And that is what ByuN is known for. He's known for his pushes. He's known for being in your face. And yeah, here on this map, working against him. As Dark was able to just completely swallow him up. Mines are baited out. Ling Bane rolls on in, and ByuN is being zoned away from his own fourth base. We can even break into the natural. GG gets called. Dark will take game number 2, tying it up 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, ByuN, he was doing a great job at keeping up with the Muta harass of Dark. Like, the initial Mutas didn't do anything. I mean, they took down the Hellion drop, sure. They got a drop, but that is literally all they could do. And ByuN was building himself up, but it looked like maybe ByuN was hoping to catch Dark mid-transition, but Dark had been maxing. He had been maxing out on Ling Bane, Roach, had a maxed out army, and ByuN moved out with, I think it was 160 supply, if I'm not mistaken, 150 to 160. Again, nothing was pressuring him to move out. He was happily mining on 4 bases. Like, he was on par with his opponent, if not a better economy. And yeah, ByuN just a little bit over eager, did move out, did get punished, did get swallowed up, and Dark ties up the series. GG. Oh, and the majority of people did bet on the 1-1 score. Well done. Congratulations, as the predictions are now paid out, and we're getting ready for our next best of 2. It is going to be a PvP between Harstem and Hero. And this is where I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned for Shopify, because the reality is that ByuN is their ace player, and I do think that in this series they needed ByuN to kick things off. They needed ByuN to start strong here, ideally with a 2-0, to give the rest of his team a fighting chance, because Shopify, they're up against a team of champions. Dark, Hero, Oliveira, they are all champions. They're all Harstem and Lambo. Too much. I do wanna say that it is gonna be like an uphill battle for these series, but they definitely can take it to their opponents. Harstem in a PvP, anything can happen, and especially with preparation. So that is why I don't want to, you know, write Harstem off by any means. Of course, I know that Trigger is an amazing player, but I think Harstem can be relatively comparable to someone like Trigger. So yeah, he does definitely have a chance. Into game one, and spawning in the top right hand corner for Shopify Rebellion, it is Harstem. And in the bottom left hand corner for Dragon KaiZi Gaming, we have Hero. Ooh. Here we go. The PvPs are upon us, and quickly talking about the map itself, as we get into Solaris, there are a lot of speed zones around the map that can influence engagements, that can influence fights. The other thing is there is no ramp coming into the natural, so 2 gate openers are the norm. They are all the craze on Solaris, and both players do go for that. They do go for the double gate opener in the end. And we'll see how aggressive we are. We'll see if we throw down our tech a little bit faster before the expansion, and what our starting units are going to be. Oh, meanwhile, Hero sending his probe towards the top portion of the map, throwing down a proxy pylon. And this is a prime location for a proxy starport. Oh my. Hero already looking to kick things off with a bang. Looking to be the aggressor, looking to be in the driver's seat. Meanwhile, Harstem going for his own probe scout across the map, actually going for his own proxy as well. Oh my. Pylons are out on the map. When it comes to the starting units, we have double Adept from Hero, so this should be an Oracle, and there we go. The Stargate is thrown down from here. It is going to be Oracle and Adept to harass. Meanwhile, Harstem goes double Stalker with the pylon in the center of the map. This should also be for a Stargate, and there it is. Stargate is thrown down. Now, unfortunately for Harstem, the Stargate from Hero is slightly faster, which means the Oracle will hit a little bit faster as well. On top of that, because Hero went double Adept, he isn't just being aggressive with his Oracle, he's also going to have the Adepts as well, threatening that wall, threatening the ramp, and also looking for some economic damage as well. So Hero's execution of this build is just far more aggressive than Harstem's. As the Adepts are moving out, and Harstem does have to come back. He has to respect them. He has to be in position with these Stalkers. And there we go. Oracle already on the way here for Hero. The Adepts don't quite make it in. So the probe of Hero does confirm that the pylon was missing, so he knows that there is a proxy pylon out on the map. He doesn't know if it's fake or real, but he knows that something is amiss. Oh, as we miss the wall. The Adepts, they make it into the main base. They can one-shot probes, and already 1 or 2 workers go down. Can we get a third? We will not. Oh, sorry, we will get a third. We won't get a fourth. 3 probes to 2 Adepts. A good start here for Hero. The Oracle is now making its way into the main. Stalkers are in position, but there is no shield battery. 5 probes in total go down. Harstem taking a lot of hits, taking a lot of damage. We do see Harstem, though, go for his own harass across the map, and he does manage to slip in, but there's a shield battery in position, and only 1 probe goes down. Good retargeting, but in the end, Hero is pulling Harstem apart. Oh, it does lose an Oracle. Good pickoff. Very nicely done. And even though Harstem has only been harassing with a single Oracle, he deals an even amount of damage. 7 worker kills. Very nicely done here by Harstem. With that, Harstem takes a worker lead. Harstem also has an expansion. Hero is going for a 1 base all in. Because he has taken so many losses, he throws down a gateway, a robo. Another Oracle comes in, more workers go down, and more importantly, the Oracle sees the forge. Sorry, it sees the robo and the gateway. It's cancelled. Oh my god. Hero, he just canceled the gateway. But he's still all in. Interesting. As Hero is sending his prism across the map. Harstem trying to sub defensively, trying to get in position, and the pressure is on Hero right now. Things are not looking too great for him as he's falling further and further behind as time goes on. Oracles come back in. They confirm the lack of gateway. With that lack of gateway, that means that Hero's expanding, and there it is. The expansion gets thrown down. That is why he canceled that gateway earlier. But I still feel like there's just so much pressure on Hero to get damage done. He needs to equalize in some way, and the Adepts, they get into the main. They do slip into the main base. Oh, getting even more probe kills. Harstem wasn't able to wall off in time, and 6 more probes go down. Harstem still has a lead, but not as big as it once was. He had a massive lead earlier, and now Hero is closing that gap. He is slowly catching up, but Harstem still has a solid amount of momentum with his army. Oracle's tried to dip in. The Oracle of Hero also manages to slip into the main base, sorry, into the natural base of Harstem, getting 3 more probes. But look at the army difference. Harstem, as soon as he gets Blink, he can move out. And as soon as he moves out, I think he kills the natural. Harstem, he can still pull this off, as the Stalkers are making their way across the map. Now, we can't quite reinforce, unfortunately, but I believe Harstem should have, again, enough to deny the natural. Maybe even go all the way into the main. Like, he does have high ground vision. He can go into the main base, can try to take control of the production. As he's moving out, and Hero, he has 1 Immortal to defend. I think he has a couple of Gateway units. 2nd Immortal's on the way. There we go. We have 2 Sentries, a Stalker, and an Immortal. 2 more Stalkers are racing back home. No shield battery on the low ground. No overcharge. Blink is done, but 1 Stalker goes down already. Not the best start for Harstem. He does bleed out a bit much. He has to back off. At the same time, the Oracles, they get into the main base, crippling the economy once again. Hero down to 18 workers. Ooh, and he loses his Oracle across the map. Hero is all in. It's all or nothing for the Korean Protoss. And Harstem, all he has to do is defend. All he has to do is hold on. Can he pull it off? We have 2 shield batteries on the way. Do we have any ready for this, though? Oh, I don't think we do. Maybe 1 in the mineral line? Not even. Yeah, the boys have to be pulled. We do manage to blink backwards here again. We're just trying to buy time for the shield batteries for the overcharge. We dive on forward, we take down the War Prism. And now we can focus on the Immortals one after the other, and Harstem will hold. Harstem looking to take game 1, looking to take the first game against Hero, the best Protoss in Korea. As Hero was completely all in with this, and the entire army gets cleaned up. GG gets called, and Harstem takes game 1. Oh, oh my god. He's crazy. He's an animal. He's lost his mind. GG, well played. Harstem does take game 1. Already a strong start here for him. And Hero is up against the ropes. And this is why I did dismiss. There was a comment in the chat talking about how, like, no, they're like, you know, Harstem, no chance whatsoever. He's like a game host or some nonsense. Nah, mate, what do you mean? It's PvP, Poppy. Anything is possible. And just like that, Harstem takes that first game. Hero not too happy about the situation. He had a good start with his initial Oracle and Adept Harass. It was good, but Hero was not expecting the Oracle counterattack that we saw across the map. He wasn't expecting Harstem to be that devoted to it and for him to deal as much damage as he did, and Hero was then punished for not expanding. If you remember, Hero was setting up for a 1-base all-in, winding it all back. As a reminder, Hero was going all in, and then after he got scouted, he shifted gears. He canceled the gateway, he tried to expand from that point, and at that point I do think expanding was almost out of the question. He was so far behind in the worker count and the economy. He was doing a good job at recovering. If you remember, it was after that where he got 6 probe kills with Adepts, but even then that just wasn't enough. GG, well played. Game 2 is upon us. Here we go. Now, the question becomes, was anyone crazy enough to get to bet for a 2-0 on Harstem? No, one person. I just saw Nidstang AU, the only person to bet on the 2-0 for Harstem. He placed one grape. No faith, Papi, no faith. 1 grape on Harstem 2-0ing. Mates. I love that you're the only one, but come on, one grape, papi. Double down. Put the house on him, papi. Put the house on him. Ay, ay, ay. Shaking my head, shaking my head. Nidstang, the one chatter against everyone else. Against all odds. Here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of side Delta. We have the captain, Harstem, for Shopify Rebellion. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have for Dragon KaiZi Gaming, it is Hero. Here we go. Again, side Delta is Hero's map of choice. Oh god. I'm betting the car and the life. Oh, everything. The life on Harstem. Ay, ay, ay. Oh god. You're all crazy. Oh, but this is gonna be an interesting one. Okay. Already things are popping off. So we're loading into Side Delta. Side Delta is an economic map. There's a ramp coming into the natural. Hero is opening up with a gate expand. Already Harstem, if you're familiar with the PvPs of Harstem, he is similar to Trigger. Very rarely does he go for gate expands. Even on maps where it's safe to do so. Harstem, he goes for a double gate opener. Harstem is looking to be the aggressor in this game. Hero is going to be the defender. For now, that's how it's panning out. Harstem does send a probe towards the top right hand corner. He does throw down a proxy pylon. This could be for a proxy Stargate once again, or a fake proxy pylon here from Harstem, as Hero does recognize that the second pylon is missing from Harstem, and he may overreact. He may think it's a proxy robo. He may think it's an all-in. So I'm liking the mind games out of Harstem. I appreciate it, and there it is. Proxy Stargate. So Stargate is not all in, it's a way to do economic damage, and again, I'm pretty sure Harstem is hoping that Hero overreacts. As Hero does turn back around, yep, there we go. Robo's on the way. With this Robo, Hero, this is a defensive opener. Very defensive. Hero is getting ready for an all-in, he's getting ready to defend and protect his natural base, and a Robo will not help him against Oracles. So far so good for Harstem. So far the mind games are paying off. Hero, ooh, he throws down another gateway. So now this can very quickly turn on its head. Now, as Hero is getting ready for an all-in, that's another gateway. That's 3 gateways for Hero, no expansion. Hero can turn this defense into an offense, and Hero himself may be the one to go for a 1-base all-in instead. As 2 probes go down, and yeah, with these 2 gateways, there we go. No Immortal, Prism's on the way. Hero, he now deduces that there is no all-in coming. He knows he doesn't need an Immortal to defend, and instead with this War Prism, Hero is going to be sending everything across the map. Oh boy. Harstem, he needs to get a read on what's going on. He needs to realize what Hero is up to, as he's coming in with his Oracle. Even if Harstem gets economic damage done, he needs to survive the counterattack. As he confirms the gateways, he confirms the wall. Oracle dips in, gets 1 probe. A second probe as well. And does Harstem see the lack of expansion? Hero, he's working on a Robo. There we go. Harstem, he throws down a shield battery and a Robo. Harstem is getting ready for the all-in. Shield battery on the way. I'm not sure if that shield battery is within range of overcharge. It may be slightly out of range. It's going to be close. Second pylon gets thrown down. Looks like Harstem is getting ready to lose a pylon here as a part of the wall. But the Adepts shade into the main base. Ay, ay, ay. They bypass the wall. They get into the main, and probes are going down. Probes are going... 3 probes go down as Harstem does deflect the drop. He also confirms that Hero has not expanded with that Oracle, and this Oracle from Harstem hasn't done enough to really justify itself, and Hero is sending everything across the map. The wall is not a wall. Adepts shade into the main base once again. Now Harstem has 1 shield battery. He has a defensive Immortal on the way, but this is still going to be a tight hold for Harstem, as Hero is here to force the issue. Again, okay, there is a second shield battery. Second shield battery within range of the overcharge as well. First pylon is going to go down. Thankfully, we have a second pylon, so the gateways are still powered. Again, Harstem feels ready for that situation. But he may need another pylon. Like, we need those gateways powered. The Adepts, they force back the army, and Hero dives on that pylon. He will depower these gateways. Ooh, and the shield battery as well. Ay, ay, ay. A brutal loss there, and we're gonna have to rebuild. That means Harstem, he just doesn't have the warp-ins. He doesn't have the reinforcements. He doesn't have any gateways. Over time, Hero can just surpass the army of Harstem. Juggling not quite there. We end up trading Stalker for Stalker. Gateway goes down. We can warp in 1 unit at a time for Harstem against the 3 of Hero. Honestly, Harstem needs another gateway. Like, you can see Harstem, he's got money. He's banking up resources. He needs a gateway, papi. The Adepts commit once again. Looks like 1 Adept will go down. But Harstem, again, he just has very limited production available. We've got a Phoenix on the way. Trying to do whatever he can. He's going for an immortal. He's crazy. Oh my god. He's setting up for an immortal drop. He's going to try to hold on here at his main. Bold move. Meanwhile, Hero back at home. He's warping in. Looks like he has recognized that some of the army is missing. He's preparing. As Harstem is trying to retake control of his natural, but I don't think he can. Big stasis trap goes off, but there's still so much available here for Hero. The Immortals, they come in, they take down the Stalker, they take down the Sentry, but Hero forces his way up the ramp in towards the main. Can Harstem save his Immortals? Up! The Immortals are so low! No! Oh my god. Harstem, he barely saves them. But alas, Hero, he has a massive army working his way up the ramp. And Harstem has to turn back around. A good force field, but do we have a way to punish this army? Not too sure we do. As the juggling from Hero is just a little bit too good. Another warp in the face of his opponent. Harstem now has 2 gateways on the way, but they're quite delayed. The Immortals do make it back home. I do appreciate that we have a Void Ray on the way. We have very limited anti-air. With this Void Ray, Harstem, he can take a fight. He can engage. Like, the Prism is taking a lot of hits. Hero is being forced back. Oh, but the Phoenix does go down. The Void Ray isn't here yet. I think this was premature. See, that's 2 threats and another shade. Both players still at 1 base. Hero does back off. And he's going for a Twilight Council. Both players running out of money. Running out of resources. We need to expand, and there it is. Hero, he throws down his expansion. So does Harstem. The game will settle from here. Whew. It was close. It was back and forth. There was some scary moments for both Hero and Harstem. Uh-oh, but Harstem, I don't think he can take a fight in the center of the map. Especially without his War Prism. Oh no. Yeah, he needs to back the hell off. He needs to retreat. Pull back to the safety of his bases. Across the map, Oracle getting damage done. But Hero looking to push in. He is on par with the Immortal counts. Actually, Harstem is up 1 Immortal. Yep, so they commit to the shade, and Harstem is being pulled apart. Probes are going down. A lot of workers. Thankfully, Harstem is getting workers across the map as well. Oh, he catches the Adepts. Good force fields. Very nicely done. Harstem, he maintains his worker lead. Just barely. Very clutch harass with that Oracle. Both players getting their bases up and running. Now, Hero does have a window. He already has Blink. Remember, Hero, he did get a much faster Twilight Council. He already has Blink on the way. Harstem quite far behind with his own Blink timing. So once again here, he's going to be able to be quite more aggressive. He can be in the face of his opponent and try to pull him apart. Harstem is going to have to take the role of the defender once again. Hallucination confirms the saturation. He confirms that Hero is at least, you know, macroing and probing. Yeah, he knows it's safe enough to take gases. Saturate is natural. Blink is being chronoed, but again, Hero already has it and he's moving out. The quality of army for Hero is greater than that of Harstem's. But Harstem has shield batteries and overcharge. As I say that, no shield battery at the natural. Uh-oh. A little bit concerning. Dark Shrine is on the way for Harstem as well. Observer goes down. Hero going to try and force his way up the ramp. Now we do have sentries for force fields, so Hero does have to respect that. Oracle gets across the map. A lot of probes going down at the natural. Harstem popping off. At the same time, Hero looking to blink into the main. He does make it in, but we have a shield battery. We have an overcharge. Harstem, he will hold. The Immortal. Oh my, the juggling, Papi. Hot pickup from Harstem. He saves the Immortal. Void Ray tries to focus down the War Prism. Doesn't get it. But Harstem takes a beautiful fight. He cleans up most of the army. Oh, Harstem forced to recall to his natural, but a quick reaction. And Hero's gonna lose everything. Hero, this is not the fight to take. Boys are being pulled. They can afford to be pulled. And Hero, he was forced all in. I can't believe my eyes. Firefly's not even playing. We get a kill in the War Prism. The Immortals go down, and Harstem, Papi, he's doing the impossible. He is looking to 2-0 Hero. Oh my god. There's nothing left. You can see Hero shake his head on cams. He knows that it's over. He knows that there's just nothing left. Harstem's the one with the Dark Shrine. Hero is not. Put the house on him, Papi. Put the... Oh my god. Blink is now done for our blue Protoss player. Blink is done. And what can Harstem really do? He's got a couple of sentries for force fields. He can maybe try to pull off a miracle hold here. But honestly, yeah, here come the DTs. The Dark Templar, the Invisible Man looking to end the game. Ay, ay, ay. There is no answer for the Invisible Man. GG gets called and Harstem. Oh. Harstem does it. He pulls it off. He takes the 2-0, giving his team a solid lead. GG. Oh my god. The YouTuber man himself, he did it. Let's go. GG, well played. A very chaotic PvP. Very chaotic PvP. No 3-base saturation, no macro play. Very aggressive from the get-go in game 1 and game 2. And this is what I was talking about. Like, this is what I love about WTL is the preparation, because especially game 2 felt so smart out of Harstem. I loved that he, on site Delta, that he opened up double gateway, that he faked out an all-in, that he went for a proxy Stargate again 2 games in a row, kind of luring Hero into just luring him into misreading the game a little bit, getting into a robo instead, forcing the all-in out of him. And I should also give credit where credit is due. It isn't just about the builds. Also, a big shout out to Harstem's Oracle control. He made 1 Oracle that game, and that 1 Oracle, I think it lived throughout almost the entire game. It did so much damage, killed so many workers time and time again, going back into the main, back into the natural, crippling the economy of Hero, making sure that Hero was never able to really stabilize economically, despite the Adept harass, for example. Like, Hero was outpositioning Harstem with his Adepts. Like, the constant Adept harass was crazy from Hero. He was getting so many probe kills, but because of the Oracle, it didn't matter. It didn't matter that Hero was killing all these workers, because Hero was also losing workers back at home at the same time, every single time. So in a weird way, you could almost argue that that Oracle was the MVP. It was keeping Harstem ahead of the economy of Hero throughout the course of that game. And of course, Hero eventually was forced all in, and Harstem, again, reading the situation very well. I was really concerned when he went for the double Immortal drop across the map. I think that was the moment for Hero to strike. But Harstem, he saved the Immortals, he made it back home, got the Void Ray. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Oh my god. And shout out to the one person in the chat. Oh, we're looking to pop off game 1 on Alcyone. Also, I did double check. I kept calling this map Alcyone. It's Alcyone. My apologies. I think I even called it Alcyone earlier today. God, I need to nail it down. We're getting there. Oh. But yeah, here we go. Lambo versus Oliveira, best of 2 in this ZVT, and we're just diving right on in. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Alcyone, we have Lambo for Shopify Rebellion, and spawning in the bottom left, we have for KaiZi Gaming, Oliveira. Here we go. As long as you do it confidently, I'm gonna call it alcoholic. With confidence, Bobby. With confidence. With bravado. But here we go. It is gonna be a hatch first opener here out of Lambo. Should be a hatch gas pool on a map like Alcyone. Should be what we are working towards. Likewise, Oliveira going to be going for a Rax on the high ground, not on the low ground, so we're not going to be seeing a low ground 2 Rax. Again, the entryway into the natural is quite wide on this map, so not the safest to do so. As we settle into our game. Again, I'm sure Lambo very hyped about the results so far, very excited about his teammates that have been popping off tonight, not just ByuN, but also Harstem, of course. They have been pulling their weight, and I love this, right? Shopify, they were struggling. If you maybe weren't tuning into WTL last season, Shopify did not even make it into the playoffs. They didn't make it into the top 8 of World Team League. Shopify did underperform, and a lot of their players were struggling. But here, in the winter season of WTL, now that the snows are upon us, you know, now that the sun is setting, that is when Shopify are looking stronger than ever. And for them to bring down like DKZ, they are champions, you know? They've won almost every single season of WTL. I think they've won like, what, four seasons in a row of World Team League? Like DKZ, they are the champions. They are the ones to beat. They are the favorites. They didn't win last season, sure, but like outside of that, like DKZ, they're popping off. So for Shopify to come out on top here in the round robin stage, like that is a statement. That is a big win. But we'll see. We'll see if they can pull it off. As for now, the Reaper does get across the map again. It was a hatch gas pool opener out of Lambo. Very standard, very economic. As Oliveira is just going to be poking and prodding with this Reaper. Gets eyes on the third base, and ooh, we have an aggressive opener here out of Oliveira. Okay, he delays his third CC and he's going for a faster starport instead. Again, we have been seeing this quite a lot out of Oliveira, where he just delays his economy. He puts a lot of pressure on himself to get damage done, and he gets that damage done. Oh my god, he delays his CC even further, going for a second Rax as well. This is almost, I don't want to say for certain that this is a 2-base all-in, but this is a very delayed third base from Oliveira. Very aggressive opener. Here we go. It's kind of a weird 2-on-1 setup. I say that because for those wondering, when you go for a 2-on-1, you go for your Rax, your second Rax much earlier on, so you can hit a timing with Stim. But because of the setup that we have available here, we're actually rushing into that first medevac, and we're going for a vanilla marine drop. So a full vanilla marine drop is going to be making its way across the map. What I mean by vanilla marine drop is that there is no Stim, no upgrades. They are vanilla. as they do move out. Behind this, now we throw down a third base, but this again, a very late third base from Oliveira, so it's not an all-in, but very aggressive nonetheless. And this means that there's a lot of pressure on Oliveira to get damage done, to get economic damage done, to make this worthwhile. Otherwise, he's just behind. And so far, he gets one Overlord. He's looking for another, but the Queens are in position. The Lings as well. The drop is forced back for the time being. Oliveira does keep all of his units alive, does preserve his army. Okay, he's looking for another Overlord. He does get eyes on this wall being mined out. He's now aware of the fourth base that Lambo intends to take. Oh, as one Marine does go down. And so far, Lambo is keeping up. And to be fair, this singular drop isn't the thing that's meant to get damage done. It's meant to contain, it's meant to hunt down Overlords, yes, but we have a follow-up push coming with Stim, with a second medevac, with more Marines, and that's going to hit harder. Meanwhile, Lambo, he's getting droned up. He's getting saturated on 3 bases. We have a Bailey Nest on the way. We have an Evo Chamber as well. It looks like we prioritized the Lair, so a very safe response out of Lambo to go Lair first before Evo Chamber. This means that Lambo is going to be rushing into Bailing Speed instead of +1 Carapace. Interesting choice. Again, very safe. Very safe late. Out of Lambo. Does focus down the medevac. Can't get on top of the... Oh, he cannot get on top of these tanks, though. Big volleys go off, but the medevac snipe was good. Oh, and Lambo is looking to dive on top of these tanks. Oh, but he doesn't quite get them. Get good positioning here out of Oliveira. Another big volley goes off as well. And Oliveira does preserve his tanks. But that was a scary moment. The fact that he lost his medevac meant that he couldn't like juggle away. He couldn't preserve his units. Things were getting a little bit intense as Oliveira backs off. And alas, he hasn't lost too many Marines or too many tanks, just a medevac. Oh, and a handful of Marines as well. As Lambo double expands, and Oliveira does get eyes on it. He's aware of the 4th and 5th base. Oh, drop is getting met up time and time again. Lambo is keeping up here with the positioning here of Oliveira. Hydrogen gets thrown down. I do think this Hydrogen's a little bit early. It's a very bold move to tech up this quickly for Lambo. Because here comes the push, and the reality is that we need Ling Bane. We need nothing but Ling Bane to defend. Oh, and the base is going to go down. Queens are being brought forward. Can we hold on to this hatchery? Banelings are waddling on in as well. One tank does go down, but Bailing Speed is not done. And yeah, this hatchery will fall. Not just a hatchery, but we get on top of the drones. 3 workers go down. The hatchery as well. Now, thankfully, Lambo double expanded. So losing the space isn't the biggest of deals. 4 drones is less than ideal. But at least Lambo has a 4th base on the right-hand side. Hydra's on the way. Bailing Speed finally finishes. 1-1 on the horizon as well for the Zerg. And Oliveira can rotate around. Oh, instead of rotating though, oh my god, he's committing. He's going for the natural. He's crazy. He is within range of the gas geysers. Oh, but can he hold on to this position? Ling Bane comes in from behind. We are collapsing on these tanks. Good positioning from Oliveira, but he is going to get cleaned up. Yeah, the tanks do go down. This was an ambitious move and it didn't pay off, which means Lambo gets away with his 4th. And now he's going for the gold. Gold base is on the way. Lambo, he survives. He gets away with his Hydra tech. He gets 1-1. Infestation bit is on the way. And Lambo, he is droning up to 80. He's getting fully saturated. He knocks down the rocks. Lambo's looking pretty good right now, as long as he's able to keep up with the multi-prong harassment. We have a double drop on the left and we have a double drop on the right. Can he keep up? Drop is going to be clearing up some creep here in the center, going to be distracting Lambo. Meanwhile, at the same time, Oliveira is looking to pounce on the gold base. He doesn't know about the gold yet, but he is in the area. He can dive on it. He can punish it. As he ignores the gold and he goes straight for the 4th. Won't be able to get into the mineral line though. He did clear a path though. He cleared up a lot of the creep, which will make it a little bit easier to push in with his main army. Sensor towers are being thrown down. Tanks are slowly building up. Again, Lambo, so far his economy is looking strong. Hive is on the way. Once we get into that, we can get into 3-3. We can get into Vipers. You could argue, though, that this Hive is a little bit late from Lambo. Oh, which means he's going to have to deal with this tank army without Vipers, without Blinding Clouds. Oh, boy. It's going to be a tough engagement. That's a lot of tanks, but here we go. Lambo pushes in. Oh, he's going to try and collapse on these tanks, but there are so many of them, and this was not the fight to take. Lambo loses his Ling Bane. Oliveira pushing on through. A big win for Oliveira. And this may just snowball out of control. We have 12 more Banelings in production. The Vipers are finally on the way, but it may just be too late. As Oliveira has so much momentum going for him, he takes down the gold. And from here, he can push on forward in towards even the third and even ignore the fourth base. The Vipers are good, but they need time. And again, it was just a rough starting fight from Lambo. Quickly snowballing out of control. We have a drop on the right-hand side, heading towards that mineral line. Vipers are getting caught out. And again, one good fight is all that Oliveira needed. And he got it. He was able to get it. Lambo's going to need a miracle defense to hold on. Oh, but as he collapses on this army, the Marines, they step on forward, they take down the Banelings, and GG gets called. Oliveira will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Oliveira looking strong there towards the end. What I will say is that Lambo was keeping up. Lambo was actually keeping up quite well with Oliveira. Sure, he lost his 5th base, but he had a 4th behind it. He teched up into Hive. I do think that the Hive transition was a little bit delayed, but what I mean by that is that, hey, if the Hive was a little bit late and if the Vipers were a little bit off, then I do think we needed to wait for those Vipers. I do think that that fight at the goal base from Lambo was premature. I do think that he saw an opportunity that wasn't quite there. I don't think he realized just how many tanks were waiting for him. There were like 6 tanks, almost 7 tanks on the low ground, waiting for that Ling Bane army, and Lambo face checks with his army and he loses everything. Like, oh, it was a it was a brutal moment. Big explosions, and Oliveira took an amazing fight, and again that quickly escalated, that quickly snowballed out of control into a win for Oliveira. GG. GG, well played. Ooh, and with that, we're getting ready for game 2. And again, Lambo still needs uno más. He still needs one game, Papi. One game to win it all for his team. That is all he needs. That is easier said than done. Interesting map choice. Equilibrium. Equilibrium is up next. Interesting. Short rush distance by ground, by air. I wonder what the plan is going to be here. I don't think this is a bad map for Mutas, if Lambo was maybe thinking of going in that direction. Obviously, there's the goal base as well. The center of the map is very open, so if Lambo can take advantage of that gold, if we can get into like a 4-base economy and take control of the map, then I can see this going Lambo's way. But we'll see. We'll see what his plan is, because as I mentioned before, Lambo has had quite some time to go over his strategy on this map, and here we go in the top left-hand corner for Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. And spawning in the top right, we have his opponent for Dragon KaiZi Gaming, Oliveira, the reigning world champion. The everyday man, if you will. The everyday man, just your regular human, you know, going by his day, nothing special, no talent, Kappa. Just hardworking, our champion. Let's go. Wholesome, wholesome. Oh, as Oliveira does take a lead in this series, and I'm curious to see how he approaches this map specifically. The last time we saw Equilibrium, it was Ryung's series. It was Ryung versus his previous opponent, and it was Ryung versus Shin, aka Ragnarok, and Ryung did attempt mech, and he was doing well for himself. If you remember, he was keeping up with the meta play. He was building himself up. If you remember, there was a really weird moment though where Ryung pushed out before he maxed. He pushed out with like 150, 160 supply, and he just got swallowed up, and Ryung very quickly lost the game from there. Especially if you're playing mech, I do feel like a lot of the strength there relies on your ability. I mean, there are certain timing attacks certainly, but a lot of them do rely on you reaching that critical mass of a mech army. A mass that Ryung wasn't able to get to take advantage of. But we'll see. I do hope that Oliveira doesn't play mech on this map. I love it when he plays ByuN. He's a very active player. He's very in your face, very aggressive. Always a treat to watch. Here we go. Who would you send for the ace match? Asher, bro, Bobby. Asher, bro. Let's go. I think Dark. I do think Dark would be a good pick for the ace match. I guess it would depend on who they think would do well against ByuN. I think ByuN is the clear ace for Shopify if we head to the ace match. I do think that ByuN is the clear pick, which would give the advantage to KaiZi. Like KaiZi Gaming, they can take that time to like deliberate and to come together as a team and to discuss who feels strongest against ByuN on the day. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The ace match is still in the future, is still a possibility, but not a reality yet. As we do get into our openers, it is going to be a 3cc before Banshee. So this time a much more economic opener, and the tumor goes down. Rough pickoff, a good pickoff for Oliveira, a rough loss for Lambo. But again, remember, in game one, we saw a very aggressive opener out of Oliveira. He delayed his third base by so much to get out his first medevac drop, to get out his 2-on-1 setup. But this time, Oliveira goes for a much faster 3rd CC, so much more economic. But he's making a Marauder. Okay, this is looking like a Hellbat push. We've got Hellions on the way. We have Marauders as well. We'll see if we throw down a I was going to fusion core. We'll see if we throw down an armory behind this. Very unexpected out of Oliveira. Yeah, he's just banking up Marauders back at home. Okay. So this should be for a Hellbat push. Viking comes out. Viking is going to be denying any kind of scouting information, shutting down the overlords. Medevac is on the way. I do know that there are certain quote-unquote Hellbats variations where you actually you do it without the armory and it's just Hellions and Marauders, but there we go. Armory is on the way. The Overlord does confirm the 3rd CC, so that is a sign for Lambo to be economic. So Lambo is going to be droning. You can see here he's got a lair on the way. Safety Baneliness is on the way as well. Thankfully, Lambo isn't rushing into double Evo chamber. Very safe play. I love this. So typically as a Zerg player, if you scout 3cc, you throw down 2 Evo chambers. You throw down 2 Evo chambers to rush into upgrades because you know that your opponent's being economic. But because Lambo is playing safe, he delays his Evo chambers. He goes for a faster Baneling Nest, which means he will have Banelings available for this Hellbat push. It's going to be close though. It is going to be close. And here we go. Oliveira's pushing on forward. The armory is done, and we're diving onto these queens. The Baneling Nest is not done. It is not done. The Hellbats do morph in, and we want those queens, but there are so many of them. 8 queens do pull together. We have 10 Banelings on the way, and Oliveira forces his way into the natural base. But the concave is looking too good. Even without the Banelings, the queens, they will hold. And Lambo will not lose any workers. Oh, we're trying to trade against these Lings at least, and we will get a lot of them. Oh my god. A lot of Lings do go down. But Lambo holds, and immediately he throws down a Spire. Now, this wasn't the most committed attack out of Oliveira. Remember, it still was 3cc. It was a 3cc into a Hellbat push. So one of the least committed Hellbat pushes that you can go for. but it was still a bit committed nonetheless. And Oliveira does lose a lot in the process. He is down when it comes to a marine count. He doesn't have a lot of anti-air, which is why I do think it is very smart for Lambo to go for the Spire here to try to take advantage of that, to try to take advantage of Oliveira with these mutas. But we'll see if he can get away with it. But now, Oliveira, he's setting up a Hellion run-by. He's rallying everything else back towards that third base. Good Ling Scout. Does confirm the Hellions, and Lambo can rotate on over with his queens. He should be in position as he's looking to take that gold. And again, I do think this is the big reason as to why we went for this map. Equilibrium has the gold base that you can take as a fourth, so a very strong fourth base here for Lambo. On top of that, because of the short rush distance by air, mutas can fare well here. Mutas, they can take control of the map. They can get quite a lot of economic damage done. There is a lot of potential with muta play. As the Ling slips into the main base, confirms the production. Nothing really amazing to see here, just, you know, bio. But at least Lambo is able to confirm it. He's able to confirm that Widow Mines are on the way. Ooh, and this is very interesting. A very offbeat timing. This is hitting with Stim. 1-1 is still a couple seconds away, but this is unexpected. We have a follow-up Hellbat push. Not just Hellbats, but also Widow Mines. Here we go, Oliveira pushing on through, clearing up a large amount of creep here in the center. Mutas are still on the way. They're making their way into the main. Oof. Big mine shots are going to be going off, softening up those mutas. The turret is in position. Oliveira, he was ready for it. He's breaking on through. He takes out 1, 2 queens. The mines. Decent mine shots, but the Hellbats will get cleaned up. Lambo will hold. And these mutas, they're getting damage done. They get an add-on, a couple of marines, but they don't touch the economy of Oliveira. That's the problem. These mutas, they were able to achieve damage, yes, but not the damage that Lambo really wanted. Well, as Oliveira's trying to cut him off. Up! Oh, barely doesn't. Barely doesn't catch those mutas. As Lambo's going to be able to clean up this army here in the center. Shuts down those mines. Behind this, Oliveira, of course, getting on 3 bases, working towards his 4th. Thors are coming out. Big commitments to Widow Mines. So far, Oliveira, I'm liking his army. A lot of it is going to be very positional based, though. Whether he can keep up with the mutas. Whether he can catch them. Again, we can see the muta cloud is here towards the south. And oh, it does run into the Thors! Ooh. Rough move there from Lambo. Losing some mutas already. Behind this, Lambo throws down Infestation Pits. Relatively late Infestation Pit. As he's already working on a 5th base. Again, Lambo, he was relying a lot on his Lingbane muta. And he's been able to survive, definitely. Oh! Oof! As he takes a massive mine to the face. Again, Oliveira, he's been trading well. And he's working on his 3rd push. This time, not with Hellbats, but with Thors. Thors, Widow Mines as well. Lambo instead ignoring the army, setting up a big counterattack. Oh, but he does come back home. Oh, no, turns back around. He's committing. He is going across the map. Sensor Tower should spot this, but Oliveira has very little time to react. The mines up! Oh, it doesn't go up. Oh, the second mine will. We do have a repair on the planetary, but the planetary will fall to the banelings. But the mutas, they do clean up these SCVs. They manage to get out of there. They get the 4th, 19 SCVs, and they escape with their lives. Even busting into the natural. The mass muta finally paying off. Oof. Does take a mine to the face, but he is dragging Oliveira back home. Buying so much time to rebuild the Lingbane army that Lambo just lost. Oh, it's going to be difficult to escape out ahead. We're good. Does have to be careful. Does have to be careful, but he does take down the mines. Nice control there out of Lambo. And Oliveira is that much more committed. You can see here in the worker count, he is down to 57 SCVs. He just lost 20 Up until this point, Oliveira, he was keeping up. He was keeping up with the economy of his opponent, and he was looking strong. But all it takes is one counterattack, one moment where Oliveira is out of position, and he loses so much. But what Oliveira does have, as we're going for another Lingbane run by, what Oliveira does have is a massive army. Oliveira, he is becoming super maxed. What that means is Oliveira is intentionally staying on a low SCV count, and he's just building up, looking to max out with a much higher army supply instead, which is terrifying. Now, it does mean that Oliveira has less longevity in this game. It means that his economy is worse, which means that if he takes a bad fight... Oh, no! No. It means that if Oliveira takes a bad fight, he won't be able to remax. He won't be able to rebuild. It's a little bit all in a way. We'll see how well he can trade. Bailing's going to be rolling on forward. A lot of Bailings, by the way. They crash into the Thor, and that was, what, 20 Bailings for one Thor? Ay. But the Mutas, they break through. The Mutas will make up for it. They take down a good amount of Marines. But again, you can see that Oliveira doesn't have a bank. He's still looking to max out. Doesn't have a gas bank, I should say. The mules are putting in a lot of work. As Oliveira is now taking the gold base. That's the other thing, is that you could argue that Oliveira can also get away with a lower SCV count because of the gold. The gold can make up for it, as it is now being taken. Meanwhile, the Muted Cloud could be threatening a dive into the main. Same time, a big Lingbane run by being set up here in the center of the map as well. Oh, as the Mutas are getting a bit out of control. Take down some add-ons, take down the Marines. The SCVs, they can even go for some of these upgrades as well. But they are forced out. And here we go. Oliveira has maxed. Oh, getting a big mine shot off. But this is going to be Oliveira's moment to push out, to go for a big counterattack. But as he does, he meets up with the Lingbane army. They roll on forward. A decent spread here from Oliveira, as the Banelings ignore the Thors. But reinforcements are coming in, and these Mutas are having a hard time engaging. Oh, this was not the best fight from Lambo. He lost a lot of Banelings here for not much. There just weren't many Marines to connect with. And he's got to rebuild. He's got to remax. Yeah, you can see here a much more efficient trade from Oliveira. Ultras are on the way. The downside here is that these Ultras, they're not the best upgraded. Kindness plating is still in production, so they are a little bit vulnerable. They are quite soft. The Mutas, once again, they dive into the main. They get into a mineral line at the same time. Oliveira going for his own counterattack, finally punishing one of these bases. The Ghosts, big pickoffs. 3 Ghosts go down. Very expensive losses for Oliveira. He gets a base, but he loses a drop as well. Oliveira getting a little bit wasteful here. And the Ultras are arriving. Again, the Ghost count not looking ideal. Marines are going down. The main army pushing through the center once again. This time going for the gold. He's going for the gold, Papi. Show us. Banelings, they crash on in. They barely take down the planetary and every SCV. 27 workers go down. And you can see here, Oliveira does not have an economy. He is down to 36 workers. I mentioned earlier that Oliveira was intentionally not remaking his SCVs. And now that turns around and that bites him. That's killing him. The fact that he just was neglecting his SCV count for so long. As a result, he can't remax. Now he's going back into worker production. He's retaking the gold. But Lambo, his own economy has been untouched. He lost a base earlier, but let's be real, he hasn't been losing workers. He hasn't been losing drones. Lambo, he's been happily mining, freely mining. As a result, freely remaxing as well. And here we go, Lambo going to engage here. Potentially the final fight of the game. Banelings are rolling on in. But a good spread from Oliveira. Is it good enough? It looks like it is not. Too many Banelings, too many Ultras as well. Lambo rolls on through, gets into the goal base, and Lambo will do it. GG gets called. Lambo needed one game, and he gets one game. He does it for himself. He does it for his team. Shopify Rebellion will win this Team League match. GG. GG. Well, very unexpected. Very unexpected. Coming into this, DKZ, Dragon KaiZi Gaming were the favorites. I mean, again, they are champions. They have won 4 seasons. 4 seasons of WTL. At DPG before that, but it's same thing. DPG, DKZ. They've won 4 seasons of WTL. They are champions, and here in the round robin group stage against a team that didn't even make the playoffs last season. Again, Shopify, they struggled quite hard in the summer season of World Team League, but here in winter, they're looking good. They're looking strong. Not just the players, but a big shout out to Harstem. Harstem was the MVP tonight. He did so well, taking down Hero 2-0. Very impressive. And I'm sure Harstem is going to make some content out of that. I'm sure he's going to be making as many YouTube videos as he can from that series. Enjoy. Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to Harstem, ByuN, and Lambo for overcoming their opponents, for taking it all and winning here for their team, for Shopify. GG. A shout out to DKZ, you know, Oliveira, Dark, they did well for themselves. Hero did struggle. Hero struggled quite a lot. I don't think he was really expecting this much resistance out of his opponent. And with that, we wrap up the final day of round 2. And now we have our standings. Here we go. Just a closer look. The standings are set 2 weeks in, still very early on. So there's not much we can gain from this, but Onside is at the top. Psystorm just barely behind them. Shopify, Basilisk, Liquid, DKZ. Again, really surprising to see Psystorm so far up, but again, it's still really early on. You know, there's not really much we can gain from this, but Onside, they were the champions of World Team League Summer, so it makes sense for them to be there at the very top of the pack, and they are the ones to beat. They are the ones to bring down. We'll see if anyone can pull it off. So, yeah, with that, I hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. I hope everyone had a great time tonight. Hope everyone had a great weekend of StarCraft as we are wrapping up. If you want some more World Team League, if you want some more WCL action, then we have you covered. We have you covered next week. This is a weekly event every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days. 3 days straight of World Team League action. So again, plenty of StarCraft happening here on this channel. If you are unsatiated and if you want some more StarCraft, if you can't wait for the next wave or the next round of WTL, we're live tomorrow. We're live tomorrow with ESL Open Cup Asia. ESL Asia is on the horizon, is in less than 24 hours. Also tomorrow we have the finale of Korea versus the World. The South Shuai Cup. Korea versus the World is tomorrow, and we are going to be seeing Solar go up against players of the likes of Rainer, of who else is there? Clem, MaxPax. Big names from the world side, big names from the Korean side. So be sure to be there tomorrow for Korea versus the World. It's an amazing tournament. That's going to be after ESL Asia. Remember that. After ESL Asia, straight into Korea versus the World. With that, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Thanks so much for the support. Exclamation mark socials in the chat if you want to support the channel. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Patreon as well. As we wrap up, thank you so much everyone for watching. Enjoy the outro as we get into that. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much. Much love, much support. See you tomorrow. And enjoy the outro. It's beautiful.